Tobias, a professor of origin methodologies and folklore, takes his daughter Nora Tiedemann up the mountain to teach her about trolls. Nora dismisses the stories as mere fairy tales and expresses disbelief in them. However, Tobias convinces her to look at the mountains with her heart. Reluctantly, Nora does so, and to her surprise, she starts to see something: the distinct faces of trolls. Years later, in the mountains of Dovre, a construction company is working on building a new railway and has to dig through the mountains. Activists opposed to the destruction of nature gather there in protest, chanting "Let the mountains live." Despite their protests, the workers ignore them and proceed to set off explosives. As the explosives detonate, a section of the tunnel collapses. The workers enter to begin their tasks when suddenly, they hear a roaring sound. They hastily flee as the remaining part of the tunnel starts to crumble, tragically claiming their lives. The Norwegian Armed Forces Operational Headquarters receives a message regarding the incident and dispatches a reconnaissance aircraft to investigate the scene. Sigrid, in charge of managing the cameras on the aircraft, compiles several photographs, which she presents to Army General Lund. He deems the situation serious enough to inform Prime Minister Berit. Andreas, the Prime Minister's personal assistant, meets up with her. They both set out for the base. On their way, the Minister of Defense, Fred, shows the Prime Minister the pictures captured from the incident, telling her they're not sure what it is yet, but some crew members are on their way to assess the situation. The Prime Minister instructs Andreas to enlist professionals and experts to handle the situation. After some time, a few men arrive at Nora Tiedemann's location with a helicopter, inviting her to Oslo, stating it concerns national security. At the base, Andreas welcomes Nora, who has since become a paleontologist. He escorts her to a secret meeting where Prime Minister Berit, Army General Lund, Minister of Defense Fred, and several scientists discuss the incident at the mountains of Dovre and its underlying cause. During the meeting, General Lund suspects it to be a military attack or an act of terrorism. The scientists, however, believe that the explosion resulted from miners hitting a pocket of methane. Only Nora and Andreas view the pictures from a different angle. Nora tries to draw attention to the footprints in the picture, but they don't take her seriously. Soon, Sigrid walks in and plays a video of the incident recorded by one of the protesters, revealing a faint image of a huge humanoid shape. Meanwhile in Leicester, a dog is barking profusely at something outside. Inside the house, an elderly couple wonders what could be wrong with the dog. Soon, they notice their cups of tea vibrating, and it becomes more intense as the house starts shaking. The two hurry into the basement. When everything becomes quiet again, they cautiously lift the cover of the basement and are shocked to find half of their house destroyed. The news reaches the Prime Minister, who sends Nora and Andreas to the location. There, they meet Captain Holmes Chris and his team. Captain Chris welcomes them and briefs them on their findings so far. Nora interviews the elderly couple. Later, Nora, Andreas, and Chris inspect the incident scene, including the deep footprints, but struggle to make complete sense of it. Nora had no other option but to visit her father, Tobias, whom she had been estranged from for years, in search of answers with her team. Hearing voices around his property, Tobias comes out with a shotgun, especially upon seeing Captain Chris armed. Nora calms him down, helping him recognize that she is his daughter who had left him years ago. Tobias puts the shotgun away and welcomes them into the house. Inside, they see papers and clippings that reflect his research and determination to prove the existence of trolls. Tobias begins to recount how witnesses who saw trolls in the past were suppressed, but Nora interrupts him, telling him that something has emerged from the mountain. She shows him the video clip. After watching it, he concludes that it is a troll. Nora disagrees, saying that scientists would have found a DNA profile to prove that trolls actually exist. While Nora questions his belief in the existence of trolls, Tobias packs his bag, ready for an adventure. They all head to the spot. There, Tobias observes the scene and is later joined by Nora. Tobias points out that something is wrong as the topography doesn't match. While discussing this, he diverts to talking about how he has missed that type of adventure with his daughter. After some time, an eye opens behind them. It turns out the troll has the ability to camouflage itself on the mountainside. They observe it out of curiosity for a moment, but when the troll starts coming after them, they quickly run to the helicopter, which takes off. After the encounter, the three meet online with the Prime Minister, the Army General, and the Minister of Defense. Despite Nora's warning not to mention the word troll during the meeting, Tobias insists that the creature is a troll. This angers the Minister of Defense, who orders him out of the meeting. Nora requests time to study the creature and determine its true nature. However, the Prime Minister turns down her request, stating it's too risky to waste any time. The Prime Minister implements a military operation led by Chris. Nora pleads with Chris to allow them to accompany the team to the military operation site, promising they won't interfere and will only observe. Chris, initially hesitant, agrees after they agree to follow his orders. At the mountains of Dovre, with the military men in position, they all wait for the troll to reappear. The troll shows up, and the military men open fire on it. However, the weapons only agitate the troll, they cannot kill it. After some time, Tobias tries to communicate with the troll to calm it down. When more gunfire is opened at the troll from behind, it inadvertently hits Tobias, causing him to fall to the ground. He dies a few minutes later. Nora, Andreas, and Chris meet with the Prime Minister, the Army General, and the Minister of Defense. Nora suggests a sonic attack using church bells, which they, especially the Minister of Defense, find ridiculous. Chris, like Nora, recommends that they think outside the box and try other means, as the modern weapons they used had no effect on the troll. The Prime Minister reluctantly gives them permission to proceed their own way. The troll shows up in a park, causing panic with everyone running in different directions. Nora, Andreas, Chris, and his team arrive in helicopters with bells attached to them. They fly around the troll, but instead of weakening it, the sound of the bells agitates the troll, causing it to start destroying the helicopters. Amidst the chaos, one helicopter is about to fall on a boy and his father when the troll intervenes, to the amazement of Nora and the others. After the incident, various international news media outlets pick up the story and broadcast it globally. Nora meets with the Prime Minister again and tries to convince her to give them another chance, but her request is denied this time around, and her services are no longer needed. Nora leaves. On her way out, she meets Chris, who offers to be available whenever she needs him. Andreas meets up with her and follows her. The Prime Minister issues a press release declaring a state of emergency and immediate evacuation of Oslo and all neighboring areas. While in the car with Andreas, Nora figures out what her father meant when he mentioned the palace, home, and the king before dying. This new discovery leads them to the royal palace, where they meet Rikard Sinding, who reveals the truth about trolls in Norway. Trolls were living in Norway before Christian settlers wiped them out, burying the truth in folklore. It turns out Tobias was right. The king is trying to find his way back to his castle. There, Nora discovers that trolls are susceptible to light. She plans with Chris to expose the troll to UV light. Chris calls on his fellow soldiers to help set a trap for the troll. Meanwhile, Andreas implores Sigrid to find a way to delay the bombing of Oslo. To do so, Sigrid hacks into the military's system and halts the airstrike. Nora and Andreas place the skull of one of the troll's babies in the back of the truck. Upon arriving at the troll's location, they unveil the skull, luring the troll towards the UV light trap. As soon as the troll reaches the trap, the UV light is turned on, causing it to halt in that spot and writhe in pain. After some time, Nora starts feeling sorry for the troll and turns off the lights, telling it to go somewhere safe. However, the sun rises and kills the troll. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot to us and helps our channel grow. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in our next video.